Hello students, in this lecture we will study what are the minimum cost spanning trees and how to find a minimum cost spanning tree. In particular, we will discuss about the Prim's algorithm and the Kruskal's algorithm. Okay. So first of all, let us take an example to understand the concept of a minimum cost spanning tree, that is a road network. So consider that a district is hit by a cyclone and the cyclone has damaged the roads, and the government sets to work to restore these roads. The priority is to ensure that all the parts of the district can be reached. That is, there must be a connectivity among all the parts of the district, right? So what set of roads should be restored first? Okay, so the problem is that if there is some city A and some city B in this district and there are multiple paths, right? There are multiple paths to reach. Okay, so to ensure that A and B are connected, right, which roads should be restored first? That is the problem of minimum cost. That is the problem of actually spanning tree, right? So spanning tree means minimum connectivity, means if you have some graph like this, so suppose these, let me label these nodes A, B, C, D and E. Okay, so is this minimally connected? No, this is not minimally connected. Why? Because for example, let us take node A and node E. How can we reach A to E? There is a direct path. We can go through D, we can go through C, we can go through B and C, right? So there are multiple paths. So this is not minimally connected. Minimal connectivity means just like this. A is connected to B, suppose. Now this is minimally connected, right? So there are no loops in this. This is acyclic, right? There are no loops. If we go from A to D, we cannot, there is no loop. This is a loop. A to D, D to E, and again A to E to A. Okay, but there are cycles. But in this minimally connected graph, there are no cycles. Removing an edge from a loop cannot disconnect the graph, right? So it is saying that if we remove this, here we have this was a loop, this was a cycle, and we have removed an edge. Is this graph disconnected? No, it is still connected. Even now, this is now the loop which is here is this is the loop, right? So in this, if I remove this, is this disconnected? No, this is still connected, right? And another loop is here is another loop, and in this loop, if I remove this, is it disconnected? No, still this is connected. And now, are there any loops? There are no loops in this graph. Okay, and now if I remove an edge, now it has become disconnected, right? So the minimal spanning tree will contain, if there are n nodes, it will contain n minus 1 edges. Okay, so there were 5 nodes and there are 4 edges, right? If out of these 4 edges, if I remove another one, then the graph will be divided into 2 components. Now this is disconnected. Okay, so to elaborate more, let us take the example of For example, this graph. Okay, so this graph is not a spanning tree, right? Why is this called tree? Because this is acyclic, right? Trees are acyclic, and in this graph, if there are n nodes, then there are n minus 1 edges. In trees also, for n number of nodes, there are n minus 1 edges, right? So this is a spanning graph. In particular, we can say this is a spanning tree, right? For this graph, how many spanning trees are possible? There are total 4 nodes and there are 6 edges. In order to convert this into a spanning tree, how many edges must be there? There must be 3 edges, then it will be called a spanning tree. Okay, and there are multiple combinations through which you can convert this graph into a spanning tree. For example, you can take this. Okay, so all the vertices are there. There were 4 vertices are there, and this graph is connected, right? This is connected. So it means this is a spanning tree of this graph. Another option is this one. So here also we have 4 vertices and 3 edges, and the graph is connected, right? Any other option? You can do this, you can do this, right? Or I think another possibility is this. This is another possibility. This is another possibility. This is another possibility. We can do this also. We can do this also. We can do this also. We can do this also, right? And I think there must be some other possibility also. For example, like this, like this, like this, and like this. So for this graph with 4 nodes, there were total 16 minimum spanning trees. Okay, so now my question is that if you are given a graph with n nodes, how many minimum spanning trees are possible? Think about it. Okay, moving ahead, back to the node network example. Now let us assume that each node has a restoration cost, right? So in the previous example, we saw that one graph with n nodes has a number of minimum spanning trees possible, right? So in the previous example, there were 4 vertices, 4 nodes, and there were 16 minimum spanning trees which were possible. But now assume that these minimum spanning trees, the edges in this graph have a weight. Okay, edges have a weight. Now among the different spanning trees which are possible, we will choose the one which has the minimum cost, and that is called the minimum cost spanning tree, right? So how to build the minimum spanning trees? There are 2 strategies and both are greedy. The first strategy is called Prim's algorithm. In this Prim's algorithm, we start with the smallest edge and grow it into a tree. Okay, so we will see how this works. We will see it in detail. The next is Kruskal's algorithm. It says that scan the edges in ascending order of cost, starting from the minimum to the maximum, and connect the components to form a tree, right? So let us take this example, and let me explain it with the help of, first we will take the Prim's algorithm. Okay, so this is the graph which is given to us. So the Prim's algorithm is saying that start with the minimum cost edge, right? So here 1 is the edge which is having the minimum cost, and then it is saying that grow it into a minimum spanning tree, right? So we have this. Now let us suppose this is A and this is B. Okay, so now see, take this vertex A, right? A is connected to, let me label them, A, B, C, D, E, right? A and B, this we have already taken into the tree, right? Now we want to grow this into a spanning tree, minimum spanning tree. So A is connected to 7 and B is connected to node C with weight 5. B is also connected to node E with weight 3, and B is also connected to node D with weight 4. Out of these 4 options, the minimum possible is, the minimum is the edge which is connecting it to E. So we will pick this. Okay, so now our tree has grown and now it has taken 3 nodes, right? So now we have these 3 nodes. Let me mark this. We have included this. Okay, so now we also have E, and E is connected to C with weight 6, and this we have already incorporated, and E is connected to D with weight 2. Okay, so out of, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible edges which we can take up in this spanning tree. So out of these, the minimum possible is this, the edge which is connecting this E to D, which has a weight 2, right? So now this now this tree has grown to include node D, right? So now any other possibility? Now we have these edges, the edge with weight 4, the edge with weight 5, edge with weight 7, and edge with weight 6, right? And the minimum among these is this edge which is connecting B to D, and it has a weight 4, right? But can we include this edge? No, we cannot include this. Why? Because B and D, they are already into the tree. We will take only those edges which are spanning to new vertices, right? Which are connecting this tree to new vertices. So we will not include this. Now we have these options: B to C, A to C, and C to E. And out of these, the minimum is B to C, right? And C, we do not have C in our tree, so we will include this. So this is the minimum spanning tree using the Prim's algorithm. So what is the total cost of this minimum spanning tree? The cost for connecting A to B, that is 1, B to C, that is 5, B to E, that is 3, and D to E, that is 2. Okay, so the total cost is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? So this is how the Prim's algorithm works. Now let us move to the Kruskal's algorithm. So Kruskal's algorithm, it is saying that scan these edges in the tree in the ascending order, right? So we have the edges and we will put them in ascending order of their weights. So the least weight is that of edge A to B, then we have D to E, then next we have B to E and its weight is 3. Next we can have B to D and its weight is 4. Then we have B to C, its weight is, B to C's weight is 5, and then C to E, its weight is 6, and then A to C, its weight is 7, right? So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 7 edges, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So we have included all the edges and we have sorted them in ascending order. So now it is saying that pick these edges one by one, so that the edges you pick, they do not form a cycle, right? So first we will pick A to B, right? So A and B, its weight is 1. So this we have picked. Next pick D to E. So suppose this is D and this is E and its weight is 2. Okay, right? Then pick B to E. They are in different components. Okay, so it means they will not form a cycle, so we will pick them, right? Then B to D. So now this is only a single component. The entire this tree, now it is in a single component, right? And B and D, these two vertices, they are in the same component. If I include them, they will form a cycle. So I will not pick this edge B to D. Then B to C. B to C. So B is the part of the tree. So the B is the part of this component, right? And C is in a different component, right? C is not connected to this component. So I can pick this edge B to C, right? Because I know that if two vertices, they are in the different components, connecting them will not form a cycle, right? So next we will move to C to E. C and E, they are in the same component, so I will not pick. A to C, they are in the same component, I will not pick. So this algorithm has ended, and now you can see that these two minimum spanning trees, one formed by Prim's algorithm and the other formed by Kruskal's algorithm, they are exactly the same, right? The only difference is how they implement it, right? So MST cost is 11 in both the cases. Now we will look into the Prim's algorithm in detail. So now we know that we are given a we have to find a spanning tree. A spanning tree is a weighted undirected graph G, which has a set of vertices V, set of edges E, and a set of weights W. Okay, we assume that G is connected. Now we have to identify a spanning tree with minimum weight. A spanning tree means a tree connecting all the vertices in V, right? So Prim's algorithm strategy is start with the minimum cost edge and keep extending the tree starting with the minimum cost edge, as we saw in the example. So now let us look at this algorithm. So algorithm is saying first we will pick the minimum cost edge, right? So let EI comma J be the minimum cost edge in the edge list E. Okay, so there is a minimum cost edge E, and we will readily take this and put it into the tree, right? So TE is the edges in the tree. Okay, so the list of edges in the minimum spanning tree, and initially we will put E, right? And what are the vertices? If I add edge E into the minimum spanning tree, the vertices which will be added into the minimum spanning tree, they will be I and J, right? This is edge E and these are the vertices I and J. They will be added into the list of vertices in the tree. Now for I equal to 3, we will start from 3. Why? Because two vertices we have already put. I and J we have already put into the spanning tree, right? And now we will start from vertex 3 to the last vertex, that is N. And from these we will choose an edge F connecting U and V. This is an edge F and it is connecting U and V. We will choose it such if it is of minimum cost. Okay, suppose among the vertices which are left, this is the vertex F, this is the edge F which is having the least cost. Okay, such that U is in TV and V is not in TV, right? So as we did in the previous example, let me take that example here. Okay, so this is A, this is B, right? And there is D somewhere here, and here we have E, and here we have C. This is 7, this is 5, this is 1, and I think, let me look at it again. Suppose this is the graph, right? So E here, what will be the vertex edge E? E will be this edge, right? The edge connecting the vertices A and B, right? So this will be included in the edge list. Okay, so TE will contain edge A comma B, right? And sorry, let me write it here. TE will contain the edge connecting A comma B, and TV will contain the vertices A and B, right? And now we will start from 3 to n, right? We will do this for, in this example we will do this for vertices D, E and C, right? And here we will choose edge F of the minimum cost such that U is in TV and V is not in TV, right? So U can be A because A is in TV, and U can be B because B is in TV. So one of the vertices must be in the tree and the other vertices must be a new vertex, okay, so that our tree grows. So here we find that it can be D, this vertex, right? So U can be B and V can be D, such that B is in TV and D is not in TV, and this is of the minimum cost among all the edges which are connecting this tree to other edges, other vertices, right? So we pick this, and now TE dot append F. So this vertex will also come inside TE, B comma D, right? And TV dot append V. V is D here, it will come inside this list, and we will keep on doing this, and at the end we will return the list of edges which are there in our minimum spanning tree, right? So Prim's algorithm is greedy. Why? Because we use a local heuristic to decide which edge to add next to the tree, right? So when we start, we look locally. We look at the edges which are connecting these two vertices to the outside world, right? So out of these vertices we will pick the vertex with the smallest cost. So every time we are looking locally, okay? That is why this is greedy, and moreover the choices which we make, they are never reconsidered. We do not go back and change a choice, right? And further observations are that we need not to start with the smallest edge overall, okay? Every time we do not need to look for the smallest edge to start the algorithm. for any vertex V, the smallest edge attached to V must be in the spanning tree, right? So if we have a number of vertices, right, A, B, C, right, they have a number of edges. D is also there. So 1, 2, 3, right? So can there be a minimum spanning tree which does not contain this edge? No, there cannot be a minimum spanning tree without this vertex, right? Without this edge. So for every vertex V, here in this particular example I am talking about vertex A, it can also be vertex T. The smallest edge attached to V, that is this, must be in the spanning tree, right? So now we are going to revise this Prim's algorithm on the previous observations, right? So here we are starting with S. S can be any vertex, right? So as I said, we do not need to start with a smallest, the edge with the smallest weight, right? We can start with any vertex. Why? Because every vertex has to be in the minimum spanning tree. Only then it will be a minimum spanning tree. Spanning means it covers all the vertices. So we can start with any vertex. So suppose we are starting with a particular vertex S. Now for each vertex V, initially we add this vertex to the list of vertices in the spanning tree. Now for every vertex V which is outside this TV, we will maintain a list distance TV which is holding the smallest edge weight from V to TV. Okay, so let me take an example for this. A, B, then C, D, E, 1, 4, 3, 7, 5, 7, 6, 2. Okay, so we will start with any vertex. So suppose I start with vertex A. So I add A, right? And for every other vertex outside TV, it means for B, for C, D and E, I will maintain distance TV of V. It means distance, when I talk about B, it is distance from TV for vertex B. It is the smallest edge weight from V to TV. It means the smallest edge which is connecting this vertex B to the tree which is there. Initially our minimum spanning tree contains only A. Okay, so which is the cost of the edge which is minimal, which is connecting B to this tree? So here it is 1, right? The cost which is connecting B to A is 1, right? And similarly for C, the cost which is connecting it to TV is 7. For D, is there any cost? There is no direct edge. Okay, so which is connecting it? So let me write it as infinity. And similarly, E is also not directly connected to A. Let me write infinity here. And the second thing which we maintain is neighbor of TV V. It means here neighbor TV, if we take B, it means nearest neighbor of V in TV. So TV contains only A, and which is the nearest neighbor of B in TV? It means it is A itself. A. Okay, so it means B is connected to A through the edge AB and the distance is 1. Similarly for C also it is A, and here we do not have. And now at each stage add to TV vertex U with the smallest distance TV U. So we will add, now what we will add here, the vertex U with the smallest distance. So here it is B, so we will add B. Now the TV, the vertices in the tree, there will be two vertices, A and B, right? So now this is looking like this. So we can remove B here because we have processed it. And the next thing which we have to do is update distance and neighbor of other vertices. Okay, so which are the neighbors of U? Here U means we are talking about B, because we have added B into TV. This is TV. Okay, so now we have to update the distance of C, D and E, because B is there in TV now. So C, now B is there. So previously C was able to reach TV through A only. Now C is able to connect to TV through B also. Okay, so now it has more options, and out of these options this is better option, right? So we will update this distance. Now distance is 5 and the neighbor inside TV is B now. Okay, and can we do this for D also? Yes. Now D is able to connect itself to TV through node B, and the distance is 4 now. And this is also possible for E. Here B will come. Okay, so again we will repeat the same thing. Out of these we will pick the vertex U with the smallest distance. So we will pick E. Now our TV contains E. Okay, and now we will update this distance and neighbor values for C and D. C is able to reach this TV through E also. Okay, but it will not update itself because this was a better option. So it will stick to the previous one. It will not update it. And D can also connect itself to TV through E. So the distance is 3, right? So now the distance is 3. The previous distance was 4. So it will change, right? This will be the result. And now out of these we have two edges, two vertices. Out of these two, now we will pick D. Okay, we will add D to TV, and the distance is 3 and the neighbor is E. Now we will update C. C is not a neighbor of D, so we cannot update it because we are updating this for the neighbors of U. Here U is D. Okay, because we have added D most recently to TV. So D is U means D here, and each neighbor of U which is not there in TV, we will update it. But the neighbor, the only node which is left is C, and C is not a neighbor of D, so we cannot update it. Okay, so now we will add C here, and the distance will be 5. Okay, so this is the minimum spanning tree for this graph, right? So now this is more formal algorithm. The previous was a kind of pseudocode. Now this is more refined version. So for I equal to 1 to n, we will take 3 arrays: visited, neighbor and distance. Okay, Visited means whether we have added a particular vertex to that minimum spanning tree or not. Initially we have not added any vertex, so visited I will be false for all the nodes, and neighbor of the vertices in TV, because TV is initially empty, okay, so there will be no neighbor. For all i's it will be initialized to -1, and for all i's the distance will be infinity, right? Then TE is also empty because the tree does not contain any edges. Then we will pick a random node. Here we are picking node 1, suppose, and we will mark its visited equal to true. A, B, C, D, E, 1, 5, 7, 2, 6. Okay, suppose this is the graph. So here I suppose is A. Okay, so this is visited A, B, C, D, E. So initially visited of A will be true, and for each edge 1 comma j, here 1 means A, for each edge A comma j, so here it can be A comma B because A is connected to B, and it can be A comma C. So these are the two edges which are connected to A. Neighbor, because we have added this to TV, right? A is in TV, so it is saying that neighbor TV of J can be B and J can be C. So it is saying that neighbor of B which is there in TV is equal to 1, right? Because B is connected to A. So neighbor A is -1, B's neighbor is A now, and similarly C's neighbor is A, and here we do not have the neighbors, and distance will be the weight of the edge connecting A to J. So A to B the weight is 1, and A to C the weight is 7, right? And these are infinity, right? So this is the initialization, and next we will do a loop for all other edges starting from 2 to the last edge, 2 to n. Now we will choose u such that visited of u must be false. So all these u's, they have their visited false, and distance of u from TV is minimum. Okay, so out of these the minimum distance is that of node B, so we will choose u to be B, and we will mark its visited equal to true. Then TE dot append, now TE will contain u, that is B, comma neighbor of u in TV, that is A. Okay, and now for each edge u comma v, so u comma v, u is B and B is connected to A, B is connected to C, B is connected to D, and B is connected to E, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. For each edge u comma v with visited of v equal to false. So visited of v must be false. So this is not included. If distance of v from TV is greater than weight of u comma v. So here what is the distance of v from TV? If we take v equal to c, the distance is 7, right? Distance of c from TV is 7, and the weight of u comma v, weight of b comma c is 5. So earlier distance was greater, the new distance is smaller. So what we will do, we will update the distance. So distance of v from TV is equal to weight of u comma v. So we will make it 5, right? And neighbor of v in TV is now not A, but it will be, C's neighbor will be B. Okay. And similarly, now we let v be D. Okay. So we are considering B comma D. So B comma D, the distance of D from TV, it was infinity, and the new distance is 4. Okay, so we will update it, it will become 4 and neighbor will be B. Similarly for E also, the previous distance was infinity and the new distance is 2, so we will change it. The neighbor will be B and the distance will be 2. Okay, so TV contains A comma B. Okay, so this is the first iteration. Now we will iterate over it again. Okay, so now out of these, so this is already visited, now we are left with these, and out of these we will pick the one with the smallest distance. So it means we will pick E, U is E, and for E also we will look at we will first make visited of E equal to true. Okay, and we will append it in the list. So here E comma B will be there, right? And we will update the weights as I explained in the previous example. So E is connected to C, E is connected to D. So using the same manner in which we updated the distances of the neighbors of B, we will do this for neighbors of E also. Okay, and after processing E, we will pick the next node with the minimum distance to TV, and we will do the same procedure, and in this manner we will complete this algorithm, and at the end we will find the minimum spanning tree, right? So now move to the complexity analysis. So we have a for loop in the previous example. Let me move to that algorithm. So here we have a for loop I equal to 1 to n. This will run order of n times, and so here we have, this is processing a single vertex 1. Okay, so it will take time equal to the number of neighbors which we have for node 1. Okay, and if this is stored in the adjacency list, then it will have to scan through all the neighbors of A. Okay, or if there are n nodes, the matrix will be n cross n, the adjacency matrix will be n cross n, and if we are looking at node 1, it means n entries, right, in the matrix. Node 2 will have n entries, node n will have n entries. In this way, this is n cross n. So here we are scanning across all the neighbors of a node 1, so it will take order of n times, because each node has n number of neighbors at a max. And then this is a for loop which is running from 2 to n, so it will take time order of n, and inside this is a constant operation, I think. Yeah, choose u such that visited of u is false and distance of u is minimum. Okay, so out of all the nodes which we have this array, right? We have to find the node with the minimum cost. Okay, so if we run a linear scan, then we have to look at all the n entries. It will take order of n time, and this is a constant operation, this is a constant operation, and here we are looking at all the neighbors of the node which we have picked. We have picked node u, and we are now looking at all the neighbors, and at the max we have to look at n number of neighbors. Okay, so this will also run order of n times, and it means overall time complexity for this loop is order of n square. And if we add order of n plus order of n plus order of n square, the overall time complexity will be order of n square. Okay, and the space complexity, we are not or are we creating we are creating some extra arrays, right? Visited, then neighbor, then distance. These are the arrays which we are creating. So the size of these arrays will be equal to the number of nodes in the graph. So the space complexity will be order of n, right? So order of n square is the overall time complexity, and the space complexity will be order of n, where n is the number of nodes, right? Now there is a note, there is a thing to note here. If the edge weights repeat, right? For example, like this, here the edge weights are repeating, then the minimum spanning tree is not unique, right? There can be multiple minimum spanning trees. For example, A to B, I choose this, and then E here, I choose this, and then C, right? So this is the minimum spanning tree which is possible, and but I think I should take a better example. Let me change it. Suppose this is also 2, so obviously I will pick this. Everywhere it is 2 2 2 2 2. Okay, so now this can be one spanning tree, but I can choose some other order also. Like if I choose this, right, this is another spanning tree. So there are multiple spanning trees possible. Different choices generate different trees. So here I am choosing different set of edges, here I am choosing different set of edges, right? So in general, the number of minimum spanning trees which are possible is exponential, that is 2 raised to power n. Here it means for each edge we have two choices, we can take it or we can leave it, and there are n number of edges. So suppose, right, then the choices are exponential, right? 2 raised to power n are the minimum spanning trees which can be possible, and the greedy algorithm efficiently picks out one of the exponentially possible minimum spanning trees, right? So now we move on to the next algorithm, that is Kruskal's algorithm. So in this Kruskal's algorithm, the edges are sorted by weight, right, as we did in the example. And initially the tree list, the edge list of the tree, the list of edges which are added to the tree, initially it is empty, and I is equal to 1. It means the index of edge to try next, right? So we will pick an edge and we will pick the first edge in the sorted list. So I is equal to 1, and how many edges we will pick? We will pick n minus 1 edges. Therefore this loop will run till we pick n minus 1 edges, and for each edge we will add it or we will not add it. depending on whether adding the edge forms a cycle or not. So if adding an edge EI to the spanning tree does not form a cycle, then we will add it. Okay, so we will append that edge to the tree, and then we will move on to the next edge in the sorted list, and in this way we will keep on doing this till we scan across all the edges, right? Kruskal's algorithm is also greedy. Why? Because we fix in advance that the edges will be added in the ascending order of their weights. And now we are revisiting this Kruskal's algorithm by adding or including the concept of components. Okay, so to check whether adding an edge forms a cycle or not, we need to keep track of components as we discussed in the example. So initially we will mark the component of each vertex I equal to I. It means A, B, C, D, E. These are the nodes which we have in our graph. So initially each node will belong to a component that is itself. Okay, so A belongs to component A, B belongs to component B, D belongs to component D, and so on, right? If U and V, they are already in the same component, and E is an edge which is connecting U and V, if we add this edge E, it will form a cycle, right, as we saw in the example. So if it is forming a cycle, we will not add it to the tree, it will be discarded. We can add it if component of U is different from component of V. Okay, so after adding, we will, because they are belonging to different components, but when we add an edge between them, they will now belong to the same component. So we will merge the two components. Okay, so based on this idea, now we will refine this Kruskal's algorithm. We have edges which are sorted by their weights. For I equal to 1 to n, component of each I will be equal to I. Okay, so component of each node will be that node itself initially. The edges which have been added to the tree, they are initially, this list is initially empty. And now we will start from I equal to 1, and while we reach the length of edges equal to n minus 1, we will keep on iterating, right? So let EI is connecting U comma V. So again, let me take this example. Okay, so I is equal to 1, so we are adding the first edge, and let EI, this first edge is connecting U comma V. So here U is A and V is B. Okay, if component of U is not equal to component of V, initially these are the components. Component of A is A, B is B, C is C, D is D, and E is E. So component of A is A and component of B is B. They are different. So it means we will add this to the tree, right? TE, suppose this is TE, it will contain this edge A comma B, right? And then for J equal to 1 to N, we are now merging the components. Okay, so for all the nodes, now we are merging the components. How? If component of J is equal to component of V. Okay, so here j can be 1 2 3 4 5. So j is a, suppose j can be b, j can be c, j can be d, j can be e. Okay, so if component of j is equal to component of v, so a and b, if they are equal, then what we will do, component of j will become component of u. Okay, so component of j, that is component of a, will be equal to component of u. U is a, so component of a is component of a. Okay, now j will move to the next node, that is b. So what it is saying, if component of b is equal to component of v, what is v here? V is b, node b. Okay, so this is true. So component of j, that is component of b, is equal to component of u. U is a, so b's component is now also a. So we have merged them. Okay, similarly we will move to the next iteration. Okay, so in the next iteration we will pick the next smallest edge, that is d comma e. So now let me erase this. U is d and v is e. Okay, so their components are different, so we will add them to the tree, and then for all the edges we will update the components. Okay, so component of j can be a and v here is e. A and e, they have different components, so this condition is false. Then for b also, they are different, belonging to different components, this condition is false. Then for c, this condition is false. For d, they are belonging to different components, this condition is false. Next we reach e. Component of e is equal to component of v. So now this is true for this. So what we will do, component of e will become component of u. So u is d. So here e's component will become d. So we have merged. This is one component, right? And now again we will scan through this list and we will pick the next smallest edge, that is b comma e. So now this is b comma e. So b is belonging to component a and e is belonging to component d. They are belonging to different components. We will add this edge, okay, and then we will update the components. So after adding b comma e to this list, that is spanning tree te, we will update the components. So this for loop will be executed and all the components will be updated. Okay, so if you try to execute, you will see that now all these will belong to component a. Okay, so this is how this will be done. And then the next smallest edge is b comma d. It will not be added because they are belonging to the same component. Then the next smallest is b comma c. This will be added because b and c, they are belonging to different components, and after adding this component will be updated. So now all the nodes, they belong to the same component, and if we try to pick any other edge, it will not be added because now c and e, they are belonging to the same component, so this edge will not be added. Similarly a and c, if we try to pick it, a and c also belong to the same component, so this will also not be added, right? So this is how this Kruskal's algorithm works. Now if we try to analyze the complexity, let us go back. So here this is sorting and there are m number of edges, so the time it will take is m log m. Okay, and if we assume that maximum number of edges which are possible is equal to n square, where n is the number of nodes. Okay, so let us take log on both sides. It will be log m is equal to log n, so we can rewrite it as 2 log n. Okay, so log m can be written as 2 log n. So if I rewrite this according to this, then it will be order of m into 2 log n, or asymptotically it will be m log n, right? So this is the complexity for the sorting. Then this loop, it will run order of n times. Then this while loop, it is running n minus 1 times, right? Or we can say that n times. And inside this there is another for loop which is running n times. Okay, so overall it will be order of n square. So if we try to see, this is m log n plus order of n plus order of n square, which is equal to order of n square, which is the complexity of the Kruskal's algorithm, right? This is the time complexity. And space complexity, we are creating this array component I, right? So and it will be created for all the vertices. The number of vertices are n, so the space complexity will be order of n. So this is the complexity of Kruskal's algorithm using the adjacency matrix, right? If we use adjacency list, and if we use some other data structures some kind of balanced trees such as red black trees or AVL trees or minimum heaps, then picking the minimum edge will be it can be done in log n time. So in that case, the complexity, the time complexity can be reduced, right?